right, O I am. Attend unto my cry. Give ear unto my prayer that goeth not out of feigned lips. Let my sentence come forth from thy presence. Let thine eyes behold the things that are equal. Thou hast proved mine heart. Thou hast visited me in the night. Thou hast tried me, and shalt find nothing. I am purposed that my mouth shall not transgress. Concerning the works of men, by the word of thy lips have I kept me from the paths of the destroyer. Hold up my goings in thy paths, that my footsteps slip not. I have called upon thee, for thou wilt hear me, O God. Incline thine ear unto me, and hear my speech. Show thy marvelous loving kindness, O thou that savest by thy right hand them which put their trust in thee from those that rise up against them. Keep me as the apple of the eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings, from the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about. They are enclosed in their own fat. With their mouth they speak proudly. They have now compassed us in our steps. They have set our eyes bowing down to the earth, like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, as it were a young lion lurking in secret places. Arise, O I am, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword, from men which are thy hand. O I am, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life, and whose belly thou fillest with our treasure. They are full of children, and they leave the rest of their substance to their babies. As for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness, and I shall be satisfied when I wake with thy kindness. Psalms chapter 17. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, we thank God for those of you on YouTube. We thank God for you. And also we thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning, and those of you that have been with us here and there's about. And we thank God for those of you who are about to subscribe, and those of you that have just subscribed, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, we give all praise to the Most High. I was just listening to the Arabs and their Islamic leaders. You know, you have two factions of them. You have the Sunni, and you have the Shiite. One believes different than the other. Other believes that it's really petty, to tell you the truth. One believes that one should be elected as the successor of their Muhammad, and the other one believes that the other should come from his family. Now, God has already appointed to us who should succeed Aaron. That is the sons of Aaron. Aaron just did not have Eli. Eli's seed was cut off. But Aaron had there were other sons of Aaron that their seed remained as far as being the high priest. And we have to understand that the kingdom of Israel is the kingdom of the Most High. Not that what you're talking about over there, that's over there now, that he give that in his disdain for us, because even in his thing, he says the wicked are the sword of the Most High. Not that they should get crazy and think they're going to kill everybody that says they're, of God. No, you're not going to do that. No. God has things in place to prevent that. But he says if I don't do what God says, then he might come against me, just as they came against you, Jacob. Now, we have to look at it. You are from a certain country. That country is occupied by those who are not supposed to be there. They're there only for one reason, to keep you from coming back until God is ready. That's it. Period. The kingdom of the Most High, and he will appoint who he will appoint as leader. He will appoint the sons of Aaron as high priest in that land. See, God has it all under control. And then the fact is, not only will that land be the chief area. He's going to have the whole world, even the meek at heart. To be meek as the Most High is. But you wouldn't have to worry, because the hearts of men will not be bothered by the auspices of the Satans. But the fact is that it's a government. They made a religion out of a government. And the hierarchy of our government is angelic, it's spiritual. It's God. You have all these factions, Christianity, Islam, and all these have made religions. Now, Islam is doing something right. They don't separate church and state, or should I say, their religion and state. And this is the way Israel should be. See, Christianity is just paganistic. It's just that, And then you go to the Vatican and that Christian faith and everything. It has its own city. Now, that's a government within a government. Isn't that something? But God doesn't deal with that. A government within a government. The final and say so of the Most High. Even the United States is patterned after this. The hierarchy is God. Then you have the sons of Aaron. Then you have the king. Then you have the sons of Aaron. You have the prophets throughout all the land. You have the captains of tens, and you have the captains of hundreds and thousands. These are your governors of the land that Israel has, and they fall under the Most High. And how the Most High speaks through them is through his prophets. He speaks through them through the sons of Aaron, even the Levites. He speaks to them. So we have left our city. We have left our country. We left our land. And our king has given it to people that really do not deserve to be there at all. Neither did we, those of you who call yourself by the name of Jacob. We didn't have to be there. We didn't need to be there because of our sin. He told us. He warned us numerous times. And even this day, how shall we even return back to the Most High, though we cry tears all night long? You can cry for souls, but we're not looking for souls. We're looking for those who would be a part of this government called the children of Jacob, even the children of Israel, that they say his name was. But the fact is, we have to really understand. We are a part, when you come into the children of Israel, when you come into into Jacob's fold or lineage, or you join yourself to his peoples, then the fact is you are to abide by the laws of the land, which was instituted by even the creator of all things, because Jacob is his inheritance. Yes, they all want to be. God had put it in them to even take over the land from the Euphrates all the way over to the Pacific Ocean, all the way on to Egypt. Egypt, God raised him up in great power. But what did he do? Or should I say Mitzrayim? He forsook everything that God tried to show him instead of humbling himself and saying, oh, have mercy upon me. Egypt would have been intact even to this day, but doleful creatures and wickedness and demons and everything else are a part of Egypt now. Even a false belief system that incorporates some of God with a little bit of this and that. God don't go with that. See that you build a temple out the order that I've shown thee. So all these prophets that we understand, they have made them deities, they have made them greater than even God himself, is going to be destroyed. Even that prophet Isis that you think you know. You get your little feeling and your little humor and your shaking or whatever, and the prophet, or should I say the pastor, blows and everybody falls over, or you waddling in your own spit. Eventually God will have you waddling in your own, should I say, life liquids, because he detested. And we're into the book of 1 Samuel. We're still in 1 Samuel. Yes, 1 Samuel, and that would be chapter 14. Chapter 14. But let us really pay attention. It's a government. not a religion. This is a government. The government has rules, statutes, ordinances, commandments, and laws. That's just like any other government. They have commandments, statutes, ordinances, and laws. It's a government, a government, a government. We have to get that into our head. Just like if you belong to the government of, you come from Burkina Faso, and you are part of you are the citizenship, but you visit another country. You're still a part, or you're part of that government of Burkina Faso. Or even you from the U.S., you go to another country, you're known by the U.S. The same thing with the children of Jacob. You're in another land, you were stolen, and your children are here today. Now, you still belong to God, not Jesus. You belong to God. He's the owner of your soul, not Jesus. And the fact is that all souls are his, he says. And the soul that transgress against his law shall die. Regardless of what other things are set up for you in your governments, God's law stands above all. This is what his governments are upon his shoulders. Because he's going to judge everyone. Not this Isis or this Jesus. I'm not even sorry for that. But regardless, in 1 Samuel chapter 14, now it came to pass on a day that Johnathan the son of Saul said unto the young man that bare his armor, Come, go, let us go over to the Philistines' garrison that is on the other side. But he told not his father. And Saul tarried in the uttermost parts of Gibeah under a pomegranate tree, which is in Migron. And the people that were with him were about 600 men. And Ahiah, or Aha, the son of Hatab, Ichabod's brother. Ichabod's brother was that of one of the sons of Eli, who God killed. Put it straight. The son of Phinehas, the son of Heli. The Iam's priest in Shiloh, that was the temporary temple, wearing an ephod, and the people knew not that Johnathan was gone. So he had someone. Now this is God's prophecy coming to pass. And between the passages by which Johnathan sought to over unto the Philistines' garrison, there was a sharp rock on one side and a sharp rock on the other side. And the name of the one was Boaz, and the name of the other one was Sini. The forefront of the one was situate toward northward over against Michmash, and the other one southward over against Gibeah. And Johnathan said to the young man that bare his armor, Come, let us go over to the garrison of these uncircumcised, that it may be that the I am will work for us. Work for us? Okay. Now there is no restraint to the I am to save by many or a few. That is true. And his armor bearer said unto him, Do all that is in thine heart. Turn thee. Behold, I am with thee according to thine heart. Then said Johnathan, Behold, we will pass over unto these men, and we will discover ourselves unto them. And if they say unto us, Tarry till we come to you, then we will stand in our space and will not go up unto them. But if they say, Come up unto us, and we will go up, for the I am have delivered them into our hand. And this shall be a sign unto us. In other words, they couldn't just go by that confidence in the Most High because they hadn't sought the Most High on these things. But apparently the Most High may have had mercy on them. Let us keep going. And both of them discovered themselves unto the garrison of the Philistines. And the Philistine says, Behold, the Hebrews come forth out of the holes where they had hid themselves. Now see, this is because God is partially with Israel, because they had rejected him for a king. Even with David and Solomon, God is partially with Israel. He's not doing the same things that he did in Egypt, nor the same things that he did with the children the original 12 sons of Jacob, according to the book of Jasher. Come forth out of the hole where they had hid themselves, verse 12. And the men of the garrison answered Johnathan and his armor bearer and said, Come up to us, and we will show you a thing. And Johnathan said to his armor bearer, Come up after me, for the I am have delivered them into the hands of Israel. And Johnathan climbed up upon his hands and his feet, and his armor bearer after him, and they fell before Johnathan, and his armor bearer slew after him. In other words, they were just slaying man left and right. And Johnathan climbed up upon the hands of his feet, and his armor bearer after him, and they fell before Johnathan, and his armor bearer slew after him. And that first slaughter which Johnathan and his armor bearer made was about 20 men. 1 man, 2 men, that was just 2 to 1. Within it were an half acre of land, which a yoke of oxen might plow. So they said half acre, but whatever the measurement was of that time. And there was trembling of the hosts in the field among all the people, the garrison and the spoilers, and they also trembled in the earthquake. So it was a very great trembling. And the watchmen of Saul in Gibeah of Benjamin looked, and behold, the multitude melted away, and they went on beating down one another. And then said Saul unto the people that were with him, Number now, and see who's gone from us. And they had numbered. Behold, Johnathan and his armor bearer was not there. Okay, surprise. And Saul said unto Hiah, or Hiah, pronunciation is difficult, Bring hither the ark of the Most High, or the ark of the I Am. For the ark of the I Am was at that time with the children of Israel. Okay, and it came to pass while Saul talked unto the priests that the noise that was in the host of the Philistines went on and increased. And Saul said unto the priest, Withdraw thine hand. And Saul and all the people that were with him assembled themselves, and they came to battle. And behold, every man's sword was against his fellow, and they were very great discomfiture. Moreover, the Hebrews that were with the Philistines before that time, which went up with them into the camp from the country round about, even they turned to be with the Israelites that were with Saul and Johnathan. In other words, this is what God does. See, this is what I'm telling you. God will make them go against each other to reduce their numbers. See, this may not, what you see over in the land that was once, that is the land of the children of Jacob. God is reducing numbers. He's reducing numbers. It doesn't matter. You say, well, you're inconsiderate. No, you're talking about God. God is reducing their numbers. God is going to put his people right back there. Because remember, he said a small stone was going to be hewn out of a mountain, and it will crush even the feet of that idol that Daniel saw and grind it to powder. So God is constantly reducing the numbers. And it's going to continue. Not only that, but all over the world, God is going to reduce the numbers. It's not because of certain rich men wants have this Georgia stone to reduce it. It's God getting ready to do this. They can do what they want to do. It ain't going to work. But God has his plan. What is God's plan? This is what you have to realize. Don't worry about what you see, for what you know that God says. This is what you hold God to. Now, he says now in verse 21, Moreover, the Hebrews that were with the Philistines before that time, which went up with them into the camp from the country round about, even they also turned to be with the Israelites that were with Saul. And likewise, all the men of Israel that hid themselves in the Mount Ephraim. These people were scared. They were faceless. They had no confidence in the Most High. Because when you have confidence in a person, place, or thing, you will do after its liking. They did not do after the pleasure of the Most High, and that's to obey, even to be after the heart of the Most High. His statutes, commandments, ordinances, and laws. These things. You can be a law-abiding citizen in any country. You still will be demised because of the color of your skin, or injured because of the color of your skin, or your creed, or your religion. but with God, to please him. He says, you got to follow me. You got to understand and know me. You have to seek my heart. A man after God's own heart is what we're talking about. David, what they're trying to Christians say, David after God's own heart is unattainable. No, it's not. It's how focused you are to please the Almighty. Not the Isis or the Muhammads or all kind of other Mashiachs they have that God did not send. Not even mentioned. If God sent something, it's going to be mentioned. When Moses came, everything fit Moses. When Abraham was born, everything fit Abram. When Samson was born, everything fit Samuel. I can keep going. And God validated every one that he had sent. Not with just them claiming to be God, but to claim they are after God's own heart. All of them were after God's own heart. To do what God had in his heart, and that was his laws, statutes, commandments, and ordinances. And to hate anything that was against it. Not making up something or an angel coming and delivering this or whatever, or some man telling you that, oh, them said back then or whatever. No, God don't do this. He don't work like that. This is why you must understand and know him. This is why it's imperative that you read to understand and know God. It's imperative that you read in context to understand and know God. It is. And it says, likewise, all men of Israel, verse 22, which had hid themselves in the Mount Ephraim, afraid. They heard that the Philistines fled. And they also followed hard after them in battle. Oh, yeah, they don't. Let's go after them. Run. They're scared. That's cowardice. And this is where a lot of people are, really, believe it or not. They wait. Many people would wait until the victory is just about won. Or you've just about established an institution or a place. And then there come moseying. They won't go through the hardship of really battling. These people you better be very leery of. But the ones who have endured with you. I mean, whether you have land or whatever, or a compound or whatever that you have for your camp or whatever. Those that started out enduring with you, them are the ones. But the naysayers, and then they come later, them you should most likely reject because they doubted in the beginning. Now, some might come later as they are converted over to the Most High, but those that have rejected you and waited, we'll wait and see what come of this. Them you reject because they will betray even the Most High. Now, so the I am saved in verse 23, Israel that day, and the battle passed over unto Beth Haven, house haven or house of haven, whatever you want to call it. 24, and the men of Israel were distressed that day, for Saul had adjured the people, saying, cursed be the man that eateth any food until evening. This was a foolish gesture, that I might avenge on my enemies, so none of the people tasted it of any of the food. Now, see, this is the dedication they should have to God. He was their king. But a man said these things. Don't you know how much that distresses and angers God? And instead of God saying that, instead of Saul saying, I will seek the Most High that I might be avenged, he says, this is my kingdom. Getting like the heathen already, isn't he? Well, we'll see some things about David and all his seed. But the fact is that all the men of Israel were distressed. He says in verse 24, going at the last sentence, he says, cursed be the man that eateth any food until evening, that I might be avenged of my enemies. So none of the people tasted any food. Verse 25, and all they of the land came to a wood, and there was honey upon the ground. God put that there. Okay, you defied me, Saul. I'm hungry. We've been fighting all day. I'm famished. Have you ever exercised all day or been into an activity all day that, you just felt like you were going to faint and you needed some energy? So you might have taken a Gatorade or you might have eaten a candy bar, something to give you some type of energy. You're not going to get fat at it because your body's going to suck it up and use it to revive you, not turn to fat, but energy. And when the people were coming to the wood, behold, the honey dropped, but no man put his hand to his mouth, for the people feared the oath. This is how God gets him. But Johnathan heard not when his father charged the people with the oath. Wherefore he put forth the end of the rod that was in his hand and dipped it in the honeycomb, but his hand and put his hand to his mouth, and his eyes were enlightened. Man, when you could just get that one taste of sweetness, that one drop of carb or whatever, it seems like your whole brain just reactivates. It's like none before. It's like your mind is unclouded and everything's clear and you got more energy and you can fight or continue on with your journey or your event. Now he says, then said Johnathan, my father had troubled the land. See, in verse 29, he said, I pray you now, my eyes have been enlightened, because I tasted a little of this honey. I was tired. How much more if happily the people had eaten freely today of the spoil of their enemies which they found. In other words, once you finish the battle, you should have eaten. There's another battle to fight. For there had not been now a much greater slaughter among the Philistines. And they smote the Philistines that day from Michmash to Ajalon, and the people were very faint. It feels like you're going to faint or die. That's what it feels like. They were fasted. Not only drained. Once your body is drained of all energy from activity, it's like a fast. You start feeling even what some doctors don't even tell you. You start feeling your body going into the fasted mode. Like electricity is all over your body or something. And or sometimes just a rush of excitement can absorb all your sugar that your liver has to let adrenaline out to give you energy, can drain your energy. And they told Saul, saying, behold, the people sin against the I am, that they eat with the blood. And he said, ye have transgressed, rolled a great stone unto me this day. I think I went a little further. He says, now the people flew. He said, and they smote the Philistines that day from Michmash to Ajalon, and the people were very faint. Okay, this is where we stopped at. Verse 32, and the people flew upon the spoil and took the sheep and oxen and calves and slew them on the ground, and the people did eat them with the blood. They were hungry, not because of them, it was because of who? Their king, whom they have elected and have caused them to sin. And they told Saul, saying, behold, the people sin against the I am, and in that they eat with the blood. And he said, ye have transgressed, roll a great stone unto me this day. And Saul said, disperse yourselves among the people, and say unto them, bring me thither every man his ox, and every man his sheep, and slay them here, and eat, and sin not against the I am in eating with the blood. They've already done it. And all the people brought every man his ox with him at that night, and slew them there. And Saul built an altar unto the I am, and the same was the first altar that he built unto the Most High. And Saul said, let us go down after the Philistines by night, and spoil them until the morning light, and let us not leave a man of them. And they said, do whatsoever seemeth good unto thee. Then said the priests, let us draw near thither unto God. There were priests with him at this time. He had some sense in his head. And Saul asked the counsel of God, shall I go down after the Philistines? Wilt thou deliver them into the hands of Israel? But he answered them not that day. When God doesn't answer, you sit still. That's just like if Burkina Faso decides to go out to its enemies and defend its people. But yet the leaders did not pray that day and feel in their heart that they should go out to their enemies. It's best to just steal. But God had given them a mandate that their enemies are delivered into their hands. All they have to do is just go out and do it. Now, and Saul asked counsel of God and said, shall I go after the Philistines without delivering them into the hand of Israel? But he answered them not. No, he didn't. And Saul said, draw ye hither all the people of the people, and know and see wherein this sin hath been this day. For as the I am liveth, which saveth Israel, though it be in Johnathan my son, he shall surely die. But there was not a man among all the people that answered him. And then said he unto all Israel, be ye on one side, and I and Johnathan my son will be on the other side. And the people said unto Saul, do what seemeth good unto thee. He's the king. Instead of following God, he's the king. They put him in the place of God. The government is going down. Even with David and Solomon and all the peace that they have, God already had a plan to bring it to nothing because of what the people did that day. Therefore Saul said unto the I am God of Israel, give a perfect lot. And Saul and Johnathan were taken, but the people escaped. And Saul said, cast lot between me and Johnathan my son. And Johnathan was taken. Then Saul said to Johnathan, tell me, what hast thou done? And Johnathan told him and said, I did taste but a little honey with the end of the rod that was in my hand, and lo, I must die. And Saul said, God do so more also, for thou shalt surely die, Johnathan. And the people said unto Saul, shall Johnathan die, who hath wrought a great salvation in Israel? God forbid, as the I am liveth, there shall not one hair of his head fall to the ground, for he hath wrought God this day. So the people rescued Johnathan, and he died not. Very foolish of this man to do what he did. But we're going to leave the rest of it because it's very long. And we don't want to go too far into boring you with the history of your people, Jacob. But seek, even he told them, fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious of the workers of iniquity. Don't worry about that. Read Psalms chapter 37. He said, lean not to thine own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct thy path. And if he do not direct your path, sit still. Don't make foolish assumptions before the Most High. And with that, you will have peace.
Walk with me.